Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic time at this event. I'm very sorry I can't be there with you, but I'm hoping to join you sometime in the near future. I am Rebecca Rumbul. I am the Executive Director and CEO
Hi.
of the Rust Foundation. And I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about how Rust is for everyone and how the Rust Foundation is looking to support maintainers and developers of the language in China and around the world. A little bit about the Rust Foundation. We are an independent, non-profit organization, and our role is to steward the Rust programming language and ecosystem. What that means is that we want to support, sustain, and grow the Rust programming language. We want to do that globally through strategic investment in developing the language, through virtual and in-person collaboration at events like these, through training and education, providing courses, and through promotional collaborative governance and technical infrastructure. We want the Rust language to be as good as it can possibly be so that you, the users, can have as much fun and work with it as possible. And I'm sure I don't need to tell any of you about the Rust programming language and how amazing it is. But just a kind of little summary, Rust is really fast and it's a memory safe and memory efficient language. One of the great features is that it has no runtime and no garbage collector, and it can power performance critical services. It can run on embedded devices, and it can easily integrate with other languages. Rust also has great documentation. It's got a friendly compiler with useful error messages, and it's got top-notch tooling, an integrated package manager, a build tool, and it's got a lot of support, type inspections, auto formatter, and more. I hope that you all love using the Rust language as much as we do. I'd like to say that I am so delighted at how Rust is being adopted and used in China. And I love the fact that so many developers are discovering this wonderful language and joining our international community. It's great to see Rust increasingly being used by companies in China, such as Huawei, ByteDance, and Weibo. I'm really delighted to see that the educational system is also taking notice of Rust and providing good educational materials to students in China. Rust textbooks are being written specifically for Chinese students, which is great to develop a good curriculum and a good grounding in Rust for programming in the future. I'm also really glad to see so many new meetups for Rust happening all over China. I'm aware that so many are already happening in Shanghai, Beijing, and elsewhere, and I'd love to see those meetups grow. And I think it's also worth noting that the Chinese Rust community is the third largest Rust community by country in the world. 6.09 of Rust users that responded to the annual Rust survey are from China. That's only behind the USA and Germany. So that's more users than the UK or the Netherlands. And that's really great. It's so great to see so many developers in China using Rust productively. And Rust is growing. This is good news. Rust adoption is growing rapidly. Global users are trebling in the last 3 years to 2.5 million. And I should say that some of these figures are a little bit out of date now. So I think that 2.5 million is actually more like 3 or 3.5 million at this point. Rust is also the most loved language amongst developers for the past 6 years. That is incredible. So many developers that come to Rust really grow to love using it. And for the first time last year, Rust was also voted most wanted language amongst developers. That is really significant because it demonstrates that not only do people love Rust, but companies are desperate to have good, proficient Rust programmers as part of their staff. And the great thing about Rust and its memory safety features is that it's now being cited as a key security solution for open source. It's really important as part of supply chain security initiatives because it avoids a lot of the memory issues that are associated with languages like C++. So we have a vision for Rust at the foundation. It's our job to make sure that Rust continues to grow, continues to be useful, and continues to be productive. We want Rust to be considered a universally safe, secure, and sustainable language. We want it to be trusted by individual developers, by organizations, and by governments. We want to make sure that Rust is maintained by a well-resourced, well-supported, inclusive, and diverse global community. We don't just want Rust developers from the US or from Europe. We want to embrace people all over the world to use Rust. As I've said, Rust adoption continues to grow, and we want to see that trajectory continue. We want it to become the go-to language for its security and memory safety features. We want to know that the companies that benefit most from Rust become and continue to be active investors and stakeholders in its future growth. We want those companies to join the foundation and to help govern how we develop the language. And we want to invest in Rust education. We want to develop training, and we want to increase opportunities and growth in use and adoption. Some of the ways we're investing in Rust are through our security initiative, which is helping to secure the Rust ecosystem. That means we're ensuring that your software is secure. We're trying to automate tooling and features in the Rust ecosystem so that you are not victims of typo squatting, that the crates are not vulnerable to attack, and that your software can be used all around the world. We have a Rust to C++ interoperation initiative. That is working to help bridge the gap between Rust and C++, because we want to ensure that companies that have a lot of legacy C++ code can still use Rust to make their code safer. We want to make sure that those companies that would like to move to Rust but can't rewrite everything can still use the memory safety features. We have developed this year a safety critical consortium, which is working to bring together the safety critical industry to ensure that Rust is fit for purpose. If any of you are working in a safety critical industry and would like to join that consortium, please look at our website. We'd be delighted to have you join that consortium and share your views with us. We're also working on a Rust specification to provide basic and universal Rust spec to enable people to program the same all over the world. We have a community grants program which helps maintainers work on the projects that they love. The community grants program provides grants for events, for travel, and for fellowships that last between 6 months and a year. A lot of those grants make sure that individuals can work on areas of the Rust project that they really love and they're really interested in, and that will help the Rust community overall. And we have a Rust education initiative where we are developing official Rust courses online for developers wanting to learn Rust or wanting to learn specific things like embedded or async. So looking to the future, Rust numbers are growing all the time. There's billions of crates.io downloads every year. As I said, we're investigating new initiatives to support and grow the Rust community all the time. If any of you have ideas about what you think the Rust Foundation should be doing to develop Rust, please get in touch with us. We're also working with governments around the world to promote Rust's features and memory safety. This is really important. Governments have a lot of sway over what kind of code should be used to secure the supply chain, and we're working closely with those governments to ensure they understand what Rust can provide. We're also hoping to work with more and more companies in China and Asia overall. We want to understand what your needs are up for adoption. We want to understand how we can help make adoption easier and more smooth for you. And we hope to partner with Chinese organizations in 2025 to contribute to events, because we would love to come and see you all and meet you all. So please, my main message here is get involved. Rust is growing. It's really exciting phase, and we would love to have you join us in one or another way. We definitely need more maintainers on the Rust project. There is a Rust Zulip chat which can enable you to talk directly with the leadership and perhaps join some of the project teams. We would love you to contribute to the leadership of the Rust project. Sign up to This Week in Rust. That is a great mailing list that tells you what's going on in Rust all over the world. It provides information on the latest RFCs and provides opportunities for developers to get involved. And we would love to have more Chinese companies join the Rust Foundation as members. Our members shape our strategy and our investment approach, and they influence how we do things. Having more Chinese members as part of the foundation will enable Asia to have a much more prominent voice in the work we do and how we are governed. So thank you all for listening. I hope you all have a fantastic event, and I hope to be there next year to meet you all in person. Thank you very much.